2023.
Recording in progress.
And therefore, which means that we needed to take stock and see what are the issues that we can be able to take forward. And in doing so, we do it with the extreme humbleness for the benefit of our people. We have gone through the normal processes of opening the air, which is the sauna. And tomorrow we expect the Minister of Finance to table the budget. And hopefully subsequent to that, we'll have to go through those processes and be able to look at what stands to be of benefit for the South Africans, especially in the sector where we are. We have decided, therefore, in our main committee that maybe the first issue is to dispense with instructions or directives that we have received and generally deal with in-house issues for this first part of the meeting as we start the year. And therefore, we will be dealing with the agenda in that fashion. Can I check, are there any apologies?
Morning and thank you, Chair. Just the following apologies received. Mr. Bolmarans, who's attending a funeral today, Chair. And then Sibu, the content advisor, who's on leave. On the 14th of February, Chair, an additional Maboda was added. So those are the apologies received, Chair.
Okay, congratulations to the Maboda family on the new member, in addition to the almost estimated 63 million living lives in South Africa. Without any further delay, honorable members, can I then table what I just put the program or agenda, Ari?
Sorry, Chair, I see the hand of Mr. Jafta before you table the agenda.
Oh, okay. It's difficult when you... Honorable Jafta?
Thank you, sir. You didn't finish your sentence. No, Honorable Judge, I wanted to ask also to be released maybe by 10 o'clock and join another portfolio committee meeting.
Okay. By the way, before I do so, I see, welcome Honorable Phillips. I think also officially, let's welcome Honorable Likov. And I hope I'm not invading anyone's responsibility. Let's also welcome the new researcher, Miss, I hope, let me use Miss, which is MS, not any other thing, Mashudu Masuta, who has just joined this portfolio committee. Can we then go to the issues that we thought we must take through, honorable members, are issues that were seized with the work of the committee, is either as references, some were references by the those above us, let me put it like that, the office of the speaker, the house chairperson. I think those are the issues that one wants to put, we then want to put for the committee. Can we then go to those briefings in terms of the mandatory or mandated issues the committee had to deal with? With your permission, honorable members. Okay, can you lead us, Ari? Or Ayanda? The reason I'm talking the reason I'm talking more to Ari, I know that Ayanda, with the proximity from where we are, with some of my colleagues, she is also load-shedded.
Thank you, Chair. So first, with MACUA and WAMUA, Chair. During 2022, the committee received a correspondence from the Office of the Speaker regarding the MACUA WAMUA. It related to, in the main, the report which the two NGOs compiled relating to the social labor plans. And also included in that is that they've indicated that they were being undermined by Parliament, especially the PC on mineral resources and energy. The committee scheduled a briefing by MACUA and WAMUA on 30 August 2022, where the two NGOs briefed the committee on the following. On their 2022 Social Labor Plan Audit Report. They also briefed the committee on their views relating to the High Court outcomes of the mining charter. And then the two NGOs also briefed us on illegal mining. Now, after that meeting, Chair, we wrote a correspondence requesting the DMRE to update us on their interactions with the MACUA and WAMUA. Now, those letters were sent to members yesterday, Chair. So I don't know if you want me to flag that correspondence or what, Chair? How do we proceed? Chair? Chair, are you talking to yourself?
Hey, most definitely. Hey, this thing of switching on and off. No, I'm saying which ones? Are those the ones that were from the department?
Yes, I've sent a number of correspondence which we've received from the department. Those were sent yesterday, Chair. And one of them...
I thought you were going to do an overview or sort of an overview summary of the response on MACUA.
Okay, no, it's fine. Maybe I can just read the recommendations after the department's interaction with MACUA and WAMUA, Chair. Let me just get the document quickly, Chair. So this is the correspondence we received from the DMRE. Report on engagements between the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy at MACUA and WAMUA on 21 November 2022. I'll go straight down to the recommendation. Right. So the following resolutions was taken on 21 November 2022 between the DMRE and MACUA and WAMUA, and it was resolved that, excuse me, MACUA will be accorded an opportunity to partake and provide inputs regarding the MPRDA amendment processes. As such, an engagement session will be arranged with the Planning and Policy Development branch to determine the processes and timelines. MACUA will identify and submit the list of priority SLPs which they want to access at the DMRE. The social audit report compiled by MACUA and WAMUA will also be made available and submitted to the DMRE. The DMRE will provide contact information of the regional managers of the prioritized regions, which are Northwest, Limpopo, and Northern Cape. The schedule for quarterly meetings should be developed and institutionalized, whereas ad hoc committees can be arranged on urgent matters. Enforcement and Compliance Unit will develop and provide a breakdown on the processes and roles of the unit. Also, the DMRE will solicit support from the Department of Water and Sanitation to provide insight to issues relating to water use license. Then it was recommended that there should be ongoing discussions on a regular basis and utilize these engagement platforms in improving the lives of the people. So that is the report, Chair.
Okay, I think that's where it's supposed to be ended. Are there any take from honorable members or some guidance that they'll want to give to the committee? Going one, I see the hand of Honorable Malinga. Is there anyone? Going two, going three, Honorable Malinga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings to all members of the Portfolio Committee, the support staff, and everybody on the platform. Chairperson, we know the work done by our PC staff in terms of the correspondences between MACUA, the department, and them bringing the response to ourselves. Chairperson, I just want to caution us that actually the department does not report to MACUA. It reports to this Portfolio Committee. I see their recommendations that they are now prescribing how the department should conduct their business in terms of involving the traditional authority and some business for us. It's a very thin line, Chairperson, that the department is recommending, because there will be now some sort of a confusion. Though the portfolio committees or the departments are open to community for scrutiny and everything. But I'm saying, Chairperson, in all this, they should just move with caution. Also ourselves, because MACUA and WAMUA, they are not the only NGOs interested in the department. So priorities, if it will be like we prioritizing them. What if we get some other concerned NGOs? Are we gonna be seized with dealing with the NGOs? Because I think NGOs, they form part of the stakeholders, Chair. So mine is just caution that as much as these undertakings by the department are done, they should not come and lament afterwards that they are bombarded by NGOs who want them to go and report to them, because the department reports to this portfolio committee. It's just a caution, Chairperson, as we deal with this. It's like it's a kangaroo court now. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Matogo, I see your hand. I can't lock you outside.
Hello, Chair. Apologies. I just had an issue with my gadget, but yes, I also wanted to give a bite a bit. I did miss a bit of the meeting as well because of network, but I wanted to check, number one, whether is it not perhaps the department that is supposed to be giving us feedback in terms of their engagements with MACUA and WAMUA, because we were supposed to perhaps be playing that mediating role, and therefore I was expecting feedback from the department. And also that's mainly because there were like some follow-ups that one would have had, particularly on the recommendations by the department. And also I think with what Member Malinga is saying, that if us entertaining MACUA and WAMUA is going to create a floodgate perhaps, or possibly create a floodgate of NGOs that are going to expect that are going to expect us to be attending to them individually. But I'm actually of the view that perhaps most of the issues that are raised by these organizations, they are always the same, and whatever intervention is made by the department in relation to this should then create a precedence in terms of how the other issues will be raised going forward. So I do not think that we must be very much not entertaining this because it's a specific organization, but let's look at the issues that are being raised. Let's look at the recommendations and the way forward, so that going forward, whenever we're raised with these issues, or other organizations, including individuals, they write to the portfolio committee, who are able to then have a reference point in terms of how to address these issues. Thank you, Chair. I think the main one wasn't the department the one that's supposed to actually be giving us, so that we're able to also ask them what's happening, because the issues were referred to the portfolio committee, by the portfolio committee, sorry, to them as the department. Thank you.
Is there any other member? Honorable members, maybe let me try and assist. The issue was that MACUA and WAMUA was saying the department was not responding to them and agreeing on a meeting. I think we might be overstretching our mandate that we are facilitating meetings between the two. The issue was that the report by MACUA and WAMUA was that the department was not prepared to engage with them and have discussion. And the principal matter of a committee is that we have to make it a point that every person who has got a concern, that concern must be attended to. How they resolve those issues, then that becomes a different matter, as long as they were able to engage. Let's make an example, for instance. On the issue of milk debt, I don't think this portfolio committee can say how the department in its engagement can expect the committee to tell them how. There is a formula, there is a way in which milk debt is constituted. On some of the issues that were raised, those issues, remember we did invite the department also to make input on the allegations that were made by MACUA and WAMUA, and they responded and said they were willing to convene that meeting and therefore send the outcomes of that meeting to this portfolio committee. Now they've done that, they've met with MACUA, they've dealt with the issues, they are submitting the report. Otherwise, we would then have to call not just the department, call MACUA also and we restart the entire process. I think the first point that they were complaining, I would have thought for me that what we will do or we should be doing as a committee is to say the committee has undertaken the instruction that the Speaker's office has given us in relation to the, the issues raised by MACUA and WAMUA. We like the report where it starts from a portfolio committee point of view, we outlined that that's the process that the portfolio committee has undertaken. As far as we have, this is the results from the portfolio committee, and these are the results that we have received of engagement between the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. And in that case, we then leave the Speaker's office to make a determination whether what we have done as a portfolio committee meets the expectations and the requirements as a portfolio committee. My only issue is that it's difficult to talk to recognition of structures. Like we were dealing even with when we were dealing with the issue in George of Petro SA. Honorable members do have a point to say, if we deal with the issues as if we are dealing with a recognition of a structure or stakeholder, that becomes very difficult for a portfolio committee, because portfolio committees are dealing with anyone and everyone in terms of the process of public participation. So I wanted to ask whether it will harm if we then send the report of the work that the committee has done, and then hear from the Speaker's office. If it says no, you need to finish this work by doing 1, 2, and 3. Can we live with that?
Agreed, Chair.
Okay, I get that there's agreement. Can we then go to the next one, Ari? Mr. Kotza, are you still with us?
Sorry, Chair. So number 2 is the organization undoing tax abuse, Chair. The OUTA tabled, or the report of the OUTA 2021 report on parliamentary oversight in South Africa was referred to the committee, and on Friday, 30 September 2022, the OUTA briefed the committee on its report. Subsequent to that, Chair, in October, November 2022, the OUTA sent a correspondence to the committee requesting to brief the committee on their 2022 report on parliamentary oversight. So the first one, the briefing we got on 30 September was OUTA's report for 2021. And then they sent a request to brief the committee again on its 2022 report, Chair. So that's the update on the OUTA issue, Chair. I'm finished, Chair.
Honorable members. Honorable Malem, is there any other member? Honorable Malinga, is there any other member?
Can I go ahead, Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Honorable Malem.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I want to highlight one issue that the OUTA report highlights, and that is the oversight responsibility of Parliament. And as a committee, we are entrusted and responsible for oversight over mineral resources and energy. And yet we don't seem to take that responsibility as seriously as we should. And I'm not just referring to the committee, I'm referring to Parliament as a whole. The Zondo Commission identified the same shortcoming in Parliament. And so what I would ask, Chair, is that as we go forward, when issues are raised, we take the oversight responsibility very, very seriously, that we do the necessary inquiries, that we don't come in with preconceived ideas, that we then investigate the matter comprehensively and deal with it accordingly. And I'll give you an example, Chairperson, that leaps to mind in the 2021 year, which is the year the report covers. And that is the car power ship deal, the Risk Mitigation Independent Power Producers Procurement Program. We asked for an inquiry into the workings of that program in detail, and it was initially rejected, and then it proceeded. We had one meeting, and the word of the department officials was taken as gospel. We didn't investigate any of the complaints. We didn't look at the opinions or issues from the side of the bidders or any of the NGOs that had complained. All we did was take the department's word as gospel and accept it. And that's not effective oversight. So, Chairperson, I'm asking that as we move forward as a committee, that we deal with oversight in a manner that is impartial, that is incisive, and that looks into the issues properly. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Malenga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Si portfolio yama NGO manje. Chairperson, one, I have a problem because even the report that was presented for 2021 did not reflect on the work or oversight work that this portfolio committee has been doing. So I will find it very difficult that I will listen to NGOs who are spokespersons of some political parties. So I'm not sure, Chair, but anyway, Parliament is open to everybody. But we have a lot on our plate. They can just submit the report. We will look into the report. That's all I will say. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, can I try and assist so that it's understood? Maybe let's agree, Ari, the report to me is not detailed enough and it may not be understood. One, OUTA came and presented. Let's take the point that Honorable Mailem says. That issue was ventilated to the extreme. I think let's look at what Honorable, and for me, disagreement does not necessarily mean that you did not attend to the matter. The reality is that the disagreement was one, and I think that point was raised in the meeting. The first disagreement was that just on the eve at night when the committee was going to meet the following day, and it's a normal procedure, there was an issue raised on the chosen alternative source of energy. That was the issue of the car power ship. There were deliberations. The point that was raised was that from where they were sitting, that issue is contained in the IRP, the alternative sources of energy. If then the issue is about issues that relate to climate risk and so forth, there was a long debate on the matter. But still, those letters were entertained. That's what it's on the records. The letters were entertained. There was disagreement on the issues that were raised. And there was disagreement in the committee. Subsequent to that, there was an issue now about the allegations that were in court. And we solicited the advice of the Parliamentary Legal Service. They then said, in that case, if there are such and there is that no determination, the committee can proceed. And the committee agreed to proceed. And in the subsequent meeting, the matter was then thrown out of court. Again, Parliamentary Legal Services view was taken and deliberated extensively on the choices the committee could make. So for me, I wouldn't want to accept if we say committees cannot disagree, because if they disagree, that matter was resolved through a vote. There was then a view that then said, regardless of what are the legal implications, the matter, as far as we know, we take the advice of the Parliamentary Legal Service. But in the event there is an appeal, and I think that's the point, in the event there is an appeal and the matter continues and the court makes a different determination, the portfolio committee will have no doubt have to do its work that it's supposed to do. There was then an issue about the conduct of officials of the department. The minister was invited on that issue, and the minister did say what were the actions that it had taken. The question is whether the committee could then disagree with that. OUTA was taken through that process. The second thing, which is why I'm saying the report for me is not captured enough, was the issue which I think Honorable Milem articulated very well in the meeting. The issue about budget, budget oversight, where he raised an issue that, but OUTA, the manner that is looking at the issue of committee's role as far as the budget process are concerned, does not take the shortcomings that the portfolio committees have power in relation to changing what is presented there. But in terms of scrutiny and engagement, there has been no doubt on what is being done. The third point, if I remember very well, that they raised was failure to track and follow up on specific issues that were raised. In that report, the method on which we had adopted, and I think it has been a tradition, I must say, it may not necessarily condemn, is that this committee took a decision or a view that it operates on, that anything that is presented to the committee, it must be followed to conclusion. And that is why some of those issues will be highlighted as outstanding matters, not necessarily on matters arising. There was quite a number of deliberations that were taken through. I remember, for instance, at the core of the grievances by OUTA was the fact that we have not convened, what is this thing, what dialogue or symposium. And we said, but there are different mechanisms in which you undertake oversight. And symposium cannot be seen as just symposium are a platform for information sharing. The last thing I think for me that I recall, I might be wrong, maybe we may have to revisit this, the report that we adopted ourselves. The last thing that, if I remember, I still remember very well, was the complaint that, what is this now? What they were raising, OUTA, that we were meeting other stakeholders, not them. And I think that's the point, or civil society. I think that's the point that Honorable Malinga was raising initially. When we said, it's so unfortunate that those entities, those civil society formations, they were blaming the same committee not meeting with them. So it means now the issue is about meeting, and we were going to be blamed again as a committee for meeting them and not meet others. So my take, my understanding is that in terms of the engagement even for their satisfaction, there is nothing that they could pick up, in my view, that was never followed up, except where there would have been a disagreement in the committee and the matter goes to a vote. So I'm not sure. My feeling is that sometimes that thing does not reflect exactly what transpired on our engagements with OUTA. And I think that point will be missed. And we must say, when OUTA were preparing the report back to the speaker, they already are asking for a meeting now on other matters. To the best of my knowledge and my understanding, we all agreed that when there is such a correspondence, it will have to be tabled in the committee, and the committee can deliberate on the report and give responses, because it doesn't mean every time you write, you must have a meeting. Otherwise, we then end up having statutory meeting that we may not find a way of justifying. And when everyone asks for a meeting and you don't grant the meeting, you will have to explain. So the issue was that we needed to finalize this, and then we can then entertain after we have received from the Speaker's office. I don't want us to shy away. If then, let's be honest, and I think anyone is entitled, if then people feel that at that point where there was disagreement and the committee took decision, there was a dereliction of duty as far as oversight is concerned. But it doesn't mean the matter was never entertained. I think for me, that was the issue the committee had raised. So in my view, if the report were to go in this way, it may not be reflecting the actual, first, it may not be reflecting the engagements. Two, it may not be reflecting the outcome of the meeting that made the resolution. So if members allow us, can we then go back, maybe even take the minutes of those deliberations, come with a report then that relates to the meeting itself, what transpired, and then the committee, if it agrees again that it is a reflection of what transpired in that meeting, we then we take that report and send it straight to the Speaker. Can we agree on that?
Yes, agreed, Chair.
Okay. Can we go to the next one, Ari?
Thank you, Chair. So the next one is the SIMAPA Swartkops Sea Salt issue, Chair. The committee received a correspondence from SIMAPA regarding the DMRE not implementing / enforcing its decisions regarding issue relating to Swartkops Sea Salt. Subsequent to the correspondence, the committee received another correspondence from the Office of the House Chair to follow up on the matter. The chairperson undertook an oversight visit on 2 December and met with SIMAPA and the regional director of the DMRE in the Eastern Cape. We are currently in the process of compiling a report which will be submitted to the Office of the House Chair. The aim is also, Chair, to meet when the committee does its provincial public hearings in the Eastern Cape in Gqeberha, to meet with the management of Swartkops Sea Salt, Chair. So that is the update on that one, Chair. Thanks, Chair.
I'll be frank and honest. When you started, Ari, I didn't hear a thing, but I'm sure honorable members would have heard. But yes, it is a fact that as a chair mandated by the portfolio committee to deal with that matter, there has been an engagement, and the report has been prepared for the House chairperson, but also the part of the conclusion of that report was that the department will facilitate and finalize the issue that is in dispute, as well as then the committee will have to do some oversight work when it visits the Eastern Cape. Mama Togwe?
No, it was up by mistake, Chair. So I like a hand. I'm still waiting.
Okay, can you agree then that the report will be forwarded to the House Chair and the process of the oversight will be as agreed? Is there any other item, Ari?
Yes, Chair, just the energy crisis. Excuse me. So then, yes, Chair.
No, I see the hand of Honorable Matoga.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sorry, my gadget is just giving me problems, but I think I'm fine now. Yeah, my hand is up now because I just need to just I'm a bit confused. I understand the report and that most of these reports were then reporting back to and referring them to, I think you said, the House Chairperson. But I just wanted to confirm quickly in terms of, because I think I did ask before about what becomes the role of the department in terms of explaining to us perhaps to a certain extent, because we had referred these matters to them and they were supposed to then, I understand that it is written down, but there are issues that in terms of even their own intervention, in terms of even their own recommendation, one would want to probe further. So where does that happen? In addition to the what's being just referred, because for instance, this one of Swartkops, we see here that there were non-compliance issues that were raised with the company back as 2020. Even though there were recommendations from the department, there was no feedback from the company. That some of the things that are raised in the report is that it's just not been honest. They've just been blatantly lying to even the inspectors of the department. But one does not get a sense in terms of, besides making these recommendations, what are you doing to hold these people accountable? And those are perhaps some of the things that one would have expected that this meeting would address, so that the department actually be addressing, because just writing letters year in, year out to people who are not complying, whereas our people are saying that we're suffering under this company, does not make sense. And I think perhaps applies to even the other reports as well. Where does the department account to us in addition to the written reports? Thanks, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Matogo. No, that's why it then says, based on that, the committee now as a committee is taking the matter. The department, when we do the oversight, will be briefing directly the committee as well as the company itself that is being accused. That's what oversight is about, so that at the end of the day, we talk about what we see. And the point was that because of that undertaking, for now, that's what we'll be submitting to the House Chairperson. It means we will then compile a report of the committee on oversight and deliberate as a committee based on what we would have on our visit to the Eastern Cape. And subsequent to that, the committee will make recommendations for a report that will have no longer now, this one becomes different. That report does not, because it's a report about issues that the committee has got oversight over. So that is when we are on the oversight, we will then get a briefing like we usually do from the department and from the company itself. I'm not sure whether that covers you.
I think it does for now, but I was referring to all the other reports because my understanding is that we're going to be referring all the other reports. And in some of the issues that are raised, we're not necessarily going to be doing in the oversight to all of them. But I'm just going to maybe wait for the meeting to come back to this so that I can check. I don't want to preempt that we're going to be referring everything to the House Chairperson for all the reports. And then after that, maybe we can then get this addressed. But for me, it would have been nice if the department would have been able as well, just sort of like address the committee on their own written reports, because
a number of things that they have raised that do not make sense.
Okay, no, that's fine. Let's differ. I don't want to rehearse or reopen, but let's agree if it needs be in the next matters arising when we deal with the minutes of this, we can take the issue and see the difference between all reports that the committee has. But can we then? Is there any other matter, Ari?
Yes, Chair. The issue relating.
Oh, you said the issue of the energy crisis.
That's correct. So, a petition to investigate South Africa's electricity crisis was referred by the Speaker to the Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy for consideration in the report. The petition was received by the committee on 22 July 2022. In the same month, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Enterprises received a correspondence from the Speaker stating that the PC on Public Enterprises, in collaboration with the Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, prioritized the electricity crisis with regard to load shedding and the impact thereof on South Africa. This was in response to a request made by Honorable Nkwankwa. In April 2022, we had a joint oversight. This was actually prior to Speaker's correspondence. In April 2022, the committee had a joint oversight visit to Eskom's Koeberg nuclear power plant. On 31 August 22, the committee had a joint meeting with the PC on Public Enterprises, where the committee was updated on the status of the grid and outstanding matters relating to the oversight visit in April 2022. Subsequent to that, Chair, a report was ATC'd with regard to the oversight visit. On 6 December 2022, the committee received a briefing by the Presidency on the Just Energy Investment Plan. On 26 and 27 January, the committees, PC on Public Enterprises, with the PC on Mineral Resources and Energy, and the Select Committee responsible for Mineral Resources and Energy, conducted a joint oversight to Eskom at Megawatt Park. The main focus of the oversight was to focus on electricity supply, status of power plants. However, subsequent to that, on what was it now? During January 2023, there was a joint meeting again with the PC on Public Enterprises and the Select Committee responsible for Mineral Resources and Energy, and the PCMRE, a joint meeting in January 2023, which focused on immediate to medium-term solutions to load shedding. These were issues that were emanating from the oversight visit January. 2, budget for maintenance of coal plants versus the independent power producers. Then 3, response to allegations made by organized labor, Chair. So that is the energy crisis issues will be ongoing, Chair. So that is the report on that issue, Chair. Excuse me. Chair. Your mic is on, but we don't hear you.
I went offline again. Still, this is still a report in progress. It's not finalized because we have not yet, after the oversight, adopted the report, but it will be. It's just an update of where we are. Can I take Honorable Milam?
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, I just wanted to request, the President's energy plan that was announced on the 25th of July last year. Could we maybe as a portfolio committee get a regular update on progress on that energy plan? In other words, what has been accomplished on a monthly basis? I'm not asking that we have a full committee meeting to discuss it, but maybe just a dashboard level report that says this, and this have been accomplished, and this is what we're doing next month, kind of thing. It really would help us to see that government is taking the energy crisis seriously. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I see the end of Honorable Malinga. Are you done, Honorable Mylab? Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, okay, Honorable Malinga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think I agree with your sentiments that the energy crisis, we are going to continuously get a briefing like what Honorable Mayor just said now. I think, Chairperson, our meeting to say what were the immediate and medium-term solutions did not yield any results because we are currently on stage 6 load shedding. So maybe this dashboard, something that Honorable Mayor was talking about, will assist. But hey, this is a serious issue, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair.
You know, I'm laughing because some of us were chairing a meeting when we were under load shedding. Where the crisis is not just affecting somewhere there. The same people who are given the task have got such limitations themselves. Can we say that we will keep the update? Honorable Mylem, will it hurt? I get what you say. Will it hurt maybe in the meantime? I guess that's what you say. Because we could not exhaust the meeting with the minister in the presidency on the matter that was briefing us. Instead of making reference to the president, to the 20th of July and so forth, I'm just being careful. You can guide me, honorable members, and not be seen to be appropriating to ourselves the issue of because the problem is that, again, you don't have any portfolio responsible for the presidents. That's a debate for our own parties when leaders are our principals. But should I take it that you say, based on the unfinished business with the briefing by the minister in the presidency on the issue of NETCO,
Chairperson.
We've lost you, Chair.
He's load shed, so
Hey.
his net will be unstable.
It's tough.
I think that emphasizes.
We request that in the meantime,
Yes.
can we be supplied with a dashboard account?
We
of
lost you
what
there,
is,
Chair.
taking?
You got
You
lost.
can't hear me?
Can't you move?
You need to repeat what you said, Chair.
He's out of the meeting, Ari.
Hey, totally out now. Oh, there
He's
he's
back now.
I'm back. Hey, Mylem, I was just asking that, will it hurt if we say, based on the briefing by the minister in the presidency, and subject, subsequent to the announcement, like you say, by the president in July, as you suggested, but it be seen as a continuation of that meeting with the
We've lost you again, Chair. Chair.
Must stand on top of the house or the tree.
Climb into the tree.
with the minister in the presidency that will we be given courtesy to get a dashboard update on the daily. I don't know what's happening. It reports.
You're in and out of the meeting, Chair.
Yes, I'm trying to use the phone because it might be much better. But my
Because
only
currently we
worry,
can't
if
hear
the
you at
phone
times.
goes.
But it means you must start afresh
No.
what you are recommending to us, the person, because each and every time you say something, you get cut. So we can't agree to something that we did not say.
It seems he's trying to get on with the phone.
Use the. I'm trying to use. Yes, allow me.
Kicked out again.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, Chair. You are on now.
Recording in progress.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Chair.
Allow me just to switch off this. Am I audible now?
You're breaking up, Chair.
I'm breaking up even on this one.
Yeah, but you're still on with both. Yes, Chair.
Yes, let me switch.
Yes, Chair. Still breaking.
Ooh.
There, that one sounds better.
Okay, now I've switched off the iPad.
Okay, yeah, now it's much better, Chair. Now you must start from the beginning again, Chair.
Okay. Now I was just checking with Honorable Milem whether does suggest that we go back and say, based on the briefing that the meeting that we did not exhaust with the minister in the presidency, can we be in the meantime be furnished with a dashboard account on the interventions that are being made on regular basis as far as electricity and the electricity crisis is concerned? I wanted to check with him whether does that what he means, so that we all agree on what is proposing. But also that does not mean we will not continue to pursue or find another alternative date where we will get a proper briefing, because that time we're also limited by time. Honorable Milem, I see your hand.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, Chair, I'm happy with that. You will recall that when the Democratic Alliance asked for an ad hoc committee to be established to oversee the National Electricity Crisis Committee, the Speaker said no, that the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy and the Portfolio Committee on Public Enterprises must oversee NECOM. So I would see this as an extension, as you say, of that process. And I'm happy with your proposal that we get a dashboard report on a regular basis. I would suggest on a monthly basis from the National Energy Crisis Committee and the Minister in the Presidency. Thank you, Chair.
I think members agree on that, ne? I see no hand.
Yeah, we fully agree, Chair.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. At least my electricity is back now. I hope I'll be much better. We go to, is there any other item?
Not related to the agenda item, Chair, but for the next one, the correspondence is received.
No, the SGA, AGSA. Can I wanted to suggest, honorable members, if you agree, that we deliberate on that AGSA response, and I think that's why honorable Martin, my friend, because it is directed by AGSA. We can't go back to AGSA. The department is responded with the SSA and they will pass through also this report, or we get
The sound is poor, Chair.
Is it poor?
There, it's much better now, Chair.
Okay. I'm saying, can we ask
We can't hear you, Chair.
With but the electricity is there. Yes. Can you hear me now?
No, Chair, we didn't hear you at all.
No, I was saying then you still don't.
Apologies, members. There's a background on me. I had to get out of that because of load shedding. Chair, I'm not sure whether it's on my side, but I can hardly hear you.
Same here.
He must log out and log back in, Ayanda, because of you, we were load shed. So the network becomes unstable when it comes back. So he must log out and in again so that he is audible.
Can you allow me in?
You've been admitted, Chair.
No, with my I think can you hear me now?
Yes, Chair. Chair, on a point of order.
Yes, Honorable Mylan.
Chair, given the difficulties you're having with your connection, Could we possibly appoint someone else to chair the meeting, and you remain as a participant? Your connection. And you remain as
I'm not sure because for now I think I'm okay, but because of that load shedding, usually I move from where I am. Is that when I slept, I was load shedded and I woke up again on load shedding. But I wouldn't know whether that in terms of the rules, it does take place when the chair is in a meeting, or the chair can request someone to hold on for him in the meantime. But let's try and see what is possible. The point I was saying on the, I'm trying to check my gadget. We were talking about, the point I was raising was that shouldn't we, or can we ask the department, based on what they have written on the issues raised by the HSA, all of those issues feels with we ask them to stick to what they have provided to us as a response to HSA. That's the issue of our will that cause any harm? Hello?
You were breaking up again as you were speaking, Chair. But the with regard to the AGSA, in that package of the correspondence received, we did receive a correspondence from the DMRE as well on its interaction with the AGSA report, Chair.
Yes.
So you're talking about the correspondence on that one, on the correspondence received.
Yes, I'm saying, can we agree that the department will talk to that correspondence that they forwarded to us before
We've lost you again, Chair.
to their proposed budget and so yes, Honorable Madogo.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Your network is extremely bad. Like we can't hear anything, and that's been the case for the past couple of minutes. So I think let's perhaps figure out what needs to be done as a way forward. We can't hear you at all. You keep breaking. So we can't even engage what you are saying, Chairperson. Thanks.
I don't know now because it was operating when there was no load shedding. There was no load shedding. There was load shedding.
Chair, let's try this. let's try this. Let me phone you, and then you can speak over my microphone.
Okay.
Let me phone you. All right, Chair.
Very progressive comedy. Mr. Kotse.
Yes, Mr. Kotse.
Okay. Switch off your mic, Chair. Switch off your mic. You can speak now, Chair.
Switch off mic. No, all I was saying, honorable members, is that can we that report like honorable such?
Sorry, Chair, can you switch off your mic and then you speak to Ari's mic?
Okay, now it's off, Chair.
Bear with him, is a PPT.
Did members get that?
No. I think his mic is still on. He needs to switch his mic and speak to your microphone on the phone.
Yeah, he is out now, actually, out of the meeting, it seems. So you didn't get what Chair was saying, Malinga?
No, Ari, we didn't hear anything.
Yeah?
We did not hear anything, Ari. Perhaps if you can just do maybe a sound check first before he can continue so that he doesn't speak. Maybe.
So you can't hear anything, Madokwe?
Yeah, at all. So maybe you put the phone, he counts 1, 2, 3 or something, just do a sound check before. Otherwise, at the point you can't hear anything.
Speak, Chair. Let's see if they can hear. Check 1, 2. Madokwe, nothing?
I think he's better now. I heard something about I can hear now something, but I'm not sure.
Chair, let's see, just say something, Chair. 1, 2, check, 1, 2.
No, we're not. It's just
no, Chair, they're still struggling to hear you.
Ayanda, you can drive and come to chairs.
I'm very far, Mama. I left my house because of load shedding. I had to get a spot somewhere in the mall. So.
Let me go out and then I'll come back again.
We can hear you now, Chair. We can hear you when you say when you go out. Can you speak now? Maybe the network is fine.
When I continue, you may not hear me. But it's
you
fine.
You can start now, Chair.
Let's. No. Yes, I was saying, honorable members, can we ask the department to come and speak to the report that they've submitted with regards the issue raised by the HSA? before they can talk to their budget proposal as well as their APPs. Can we agree on that?
Chairperson.
Yes, Mama.
Thank you very much. I think I'm in agreement with the proposal, but I also want to further make a proposal on the issue of our meetings, given what we have experienced today, that maybe it's time we go back to physical meetings, because if the issues were of significance than a suggestion, would be stuck now and not be able to continue with the business of Parliament. I just want the committee to probably consider that, so that we continue with the business of Parliament without hindrances. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Matogwe.
Thank you, Chair. I think I agree with your suggestion, or perhaps the referral to the department, because I think I did raise this as well, that some of these issues really need the department to come and tell us what's happening. And I think also I would want to highly agree with the suggestion of physical meetings, because I mean, they are long overdue. There's no reason for us to be doing virtual meetings at this point in time. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, broad proposal agreed to. I understand you will work out how it depends. The committees decided that we now meet physically to counteract all the challenges that we are having. Okay. Is there any other matter that is still outstanding?
No, sorry, Chair, before you go, that does it mean the Friday's meeting should be in Parliament?
If at all, it can happen like that. But because it's only now, I wouldn't know logistically how it would work, but probably at least from next week onwards, it must be. But try even Friday. But members will have to know before the end of the day today.
Okay.
Because tomorrow is Wednesday. Then we get Honorable Lorima and Honorable Malinga, and then Honorable Malem. Honorable Lorima.
Thanks, Chair. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. There's some other correspondence that we don't seem to have dealt with. I'm particularly interested in the correspondence from the department related to shale gas, which I find a bit disturbing. Is now an appropriate time to discuss that?
Okay, let me check others. I saw the end of Honorable Malinga.
Thank you very much.
Can I take Honorable? Okay.
So you don't want me to speak?
No, I'm saying speak. We're waiting for you.
Oh, okay. No, Chairperson, I was saying I am not against the proposal of physical meetings, but it's the first time that you encountered such a challenge with your budget. So rushing for physical meetings meetings, especially for this week on a Friday. Remember, as this committee, we never agreed to traveling days. But I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, Chair. Friday, no. We hope that you will deal with your budgets while they are looking into the issue of physical meetings.
No, okay. Honorable Milam.
Thank you, Chairperson. First of all, I want to agree with Honorable Lorimer that there is outstanding issues on the agenda that we need to deal with, but we'll come back to that. But Chair, with regard to physical meetings, I'm quite happy for that to proceed. I just want to ask, would it be possible to write to Honorable Froelich and ask that our meetings be scheduled over consecutive days? It's quite a logistical challenge to have a physical meeting on a Tuesday and then another physical meeting on a Friday, given the limited flights and resources that are available. So if possible, Chair, would you be in a position to write to Honorable Froelich and reschedule the meetings of this committee to consecutive days? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I see the end of Honorable Phillips.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Chair. Yes, I think it's going to be a sign of the times because the connectivity is caused by load shedding, and we all know that that's not going to end anytime soon. So I think we really do need to get back to physical meetings as quickly as possible so that we can engage properly. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, let me start with the first issue. Honorable Lorima, we are asking about that. The manner we broke down correspondence might be in, but you are correct with the issue of the load shedding, and probably will suggest should be the one with regards to the physical attendance that honorable members were raising. The issue is that the reality is that it's in anticipation. That's why Honorable Malinga took cognizance of the fact that Friday might be a little bit much closer. Usually, because now Cape Town, we only arrived at usually, I also do the same thing, try and find a place where I know there's a generator and the network will not be a problem if there's loading. Unfortunately, Cape Town, and I was not aware that there will be load shedding at 8 o'clock because at 12 o'clock there was load shedding. So my schedule is on stage to stage, not necessarily the full schedule. So by 8 o'clock, I was caught unaware that there is load shedding. But being the case as it may, it sometimes affects all of us. I think it is not just a matter of today or affecting the chair and most of us as members. It's the first time. There was a time where almost the capacity could not participate in software. We will look on the front, take note of that, and then the point I thought honorable members were saying, look at us going back and have our meeting physically. So if load shedding it kicks in, we'll just the curtains and the door. We can still see each other and talk to each other, manage recordings. So I think we will do that, honorable members, and try and give yourself reasonable time to prepare for the physical sitting. The issue, honorable Milam, is that there is a floor chair that committees will not be allowed to take both Tuesday and Wednesday. Strong must learn to accept. I'm not sure separately. Some of the members of the parties, they sit in more than 3 committees also. For instance, there are parties that only have less than the huge number that we're having of parliament. Maybe if those members are full-time or 2 in one committee, they find it very difficult to effectively participate in both committees. So the Wednesdays were allocated specifically to other committees. The Tuesdays we are one of the committees that were allocated Tuesday, like other committees. The question will be, do we want to utilize the Friday, or do we want to say on Friday we can meet only if there is an urgent matter? And that matter must be prepared in advance. I think that's the issue. I don't want to create, but if members are forcing that, I must write to the best of my knowledge, this is taken in the House or any other person are taken by our own principals in the programming committee. And my understanding is that this is an outcome of the programming committee that they have an arrangement. So that is what it is. With regards to physical, let's see what is it that we can do with that sitting. Can we go to the issue of the outstanding correspondence, the shell gas? Is Honorable Phillips a Lakers one, an old one, or is
Mayor Phillips, the chair is asking if that is an old hand or a new hand.
Sorry, I'm on a phone in my car to get signal. I'm sorry, it's a legacy hand. Apologies for that.
So can I continue with the correspondence received, Chair?
Chair is out again, Ari. I think he was saying you can continue after Ms. Phillips' hand.
No, let me continue, yeah. So with regard to the correspondences received from the department, members will recall this was sent out to members yesterday. So the first one we received was from Tau Rapulana Traditional Community. The second correspondence from the DMRE related to the Auditor General of South Africa relating to derelict and ownerless mines. Number 3, correspondence from the Narwadi Board submission on allegations of unpleasant working conditions. Number 4, the correspondence from MACUA WAMUA from the DMRE, update on its interaction as discussed earlier. Number 5, shale gas update. Number 6, the long-term operation of Koeberg Nuclear Power Plant. Number 7, the correspondence from DMRE with regard to Swartkops Sea Salt. And then number 8, the information on Glencore. I think, Mr. Lorimer, you will recall that this was the issues you requested with regard to the applications finalized to date, operations under care and maintenance, and then the Zonnebloem update. So those are the correspondences received. from the DMRE. I'm finished, Chair. I see you back on the platform.
I see the head of Honorable Lorima.
Yes, Chair. Just with regard to the correspondence from the department concerning shale gas, I get the feeling that the department is shifting the goalposts here. They came before us, we asked for an update on what was going on with their shale gas program, and they said, we'll send you a report. Now they've sent us a letter saying, well, the project's not finished yet, so we'll tell you what's happening when it's finished. I don't find that acceptable, Chair. We need a progress report. It's part of oversight. I would request that the committee asks them to deliver a progress report. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Matoga.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted sort of like an outline in terms of what exactly are we engaging, because there's a number of correspondences that Ari has just read out. And I think out of the number, I think there were 8 that were attached in the thing there. And I think there's about 5 that we have not covered in the previous items. So before I can engage, if we can just be given an outline of whether we're engaging all of them, because I see now Honorable Lorima is speaking about the shale gas one, but there's the Tau one, there's this one, there's that one. Then after that, I think I'll be fine, Chair. Thanks.
Okay. Ari, do you want to respond, or is it your hand still up again, Honorable Lorima?
Mr. Chair, yeah, I'd like to speak on another item as well, but I'm going to wait to see your answer to Honorable Madogwe.
Okay. And Ari? Ayanda, by the way.
I think it depends all on the committee, Chair, how they want to deal with these matters, Chair.
No.
Yes, Chair, I concur with Ari.
Honorable Matobe says there are issues, other issues, correspondences that have not been attended to. I didn't hear most of them that she would have thought we were to highlight. She makes an example about the Tau, Rapulana something.
Yeah.
Yes. So she says she thought those were also equally important, and which is the, I can speak to Enradi one. I hope I'm correct. The Enradi one is scheduled in the program of the committee.
That is correct, Chair.
That one is scheduled in the. It's an item in the program of the committee, which the committee had adopted. I remember members arguing strongly that that issue has to be dealt with. I think the Quebec one, it is part of what we were talking about in terms of our joint work with the portfolio committee. We said that it is work that it's about update, and I think we've gone past that. The Glencore issues contained, I think that's what you must assist us, because the rest I think we have done so with them. What is the issue with the Glencore issues?
Those were information, that was information requested by, if I recall, Mr. Lorima, during the meeting, Chair, during the briefing by the department on the Glencore issues. So those were just the information requested.
Okay. The Tower plan. I see your hand, Honorable Lorima and Honorable Milem. I saw the Taura Plane one. It's something that for me is not clear. I think it's a matter that instead of coming here as a correspondence, it's a matter that must be tabled because tabled to the committee, and then committee members must decide how to deal or to handle that matter. I think that is one thing, because I don't remember having a decision. I might be wrong. And then it be
No, that one was tabled, Chair.
Oh.
That one was tabled, Chair.
Sorry, Chair, if I may add. Sorry. Yes, that one was tabled. It's coming from the Speaker's office, and then we refer it to the departments. Hence is in the file of the response from the department. Now the committee needs the way forward. How are they gonna deal with it?
Okay. Honorable Mylem and Honorable Lorima.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I want to talk on the long-term operation of Koeberg, if I may. Chair, the letter from Mr. Mbele is dated the 23rd of September last year, and it's now almost 6 months later that we are getting this correspondence from him. My concern is that a lot has happened in that time frame, and what I would request, Chair, is that early in the second term that we schedule an update with Eskom on the parliament on the committee program to provide us with a current update as to exactly what the situation is at Koeberg with regard to the long-term operation and the licensing. And I'd really request that the National Nuclear Regulator be part of that meeting so that we can get their inputs as to whether or not Koeberg is complying with the licensing requirements for their license renewal in June 2024. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chair, on two issues. First of all, on the Glencore information, that's useful information. I'm studying it, and if it gives rise to any other issues, I will.
I think that's.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Okay, I don't know if you did. I'm going to go ahead anyway. If the Glencore information.
Yes, Honourable Lorin.
If the Glencore information gives rise to any further issues, I will raise them at another date. On the Tau Rapulana, I'm aware of this issue. It's a long-running dispute going back several years. The department is correct in saying that the community is divided over it. Part of the community was alleging that the traditional leader was bought off by the mining company with a car, but the community is nevertheless divided, and it's difficult to find out exactly what's going on. The one part of the community was claiming that the department was not following proper procedures in allocating rights to the mining company. All I can suggest on this one, if you see the second point of the department's letter, it says they intend to bring the relevant stakeholders, COGTA and agriculture, and discuss it with them. I would just like us to get from the department some kind of indication of when that's going to happen, and that they must inform us of what subsequently occurs in those meetings that it convenes. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Mama Togo.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'm partly covered by Honorable Lorima on the need for the department perhaps to just expand further on the report of Tau Rapulana, or all the reports. They are reports in any case. Because there are, like I indicated at the beginning of the meeting, that there are so many things in all the reports that one would have needed to get the report to expand, or the department to expand on or account on, before they can actually give a way forward. But also, again, I think maybe even now, if I ask the question, maybe I don't know who I would be directing it to, but I know that the report of Tau Rapulana does actually indicate that there's a lot of divisions, and also that there are multiple structures and all these things. But when one went through the report, there were a number of issues as well that were raised. They're not just about the mining rights, but also human rights issues. I think even the Human Rights Commission was involved at one point. I don't think that there is feedback in terms of what their intervention was. There are issues of environmental laws compliance and all those things. And I think some of the things that were raised there do not necessarily need a united community. They just need the company to be held accountable in terms of compliance. So those are things that one would have wanted to hear. On Narwadi, as well, on the issue of Narwadi, I think, Chair, you did give feedback in terms of what needs to happen. But then again, that report, the Narwadi board says that the issue will be concluded by the end of the year, which is 2022. So we're in 2023 right now. There is no update in terms of what were the outcomes of their investigations. The report also refers to the fact that the minister himself was part of the intervention there, but it doesn't expand in terms of what intervention did he make and what were the outcomes. So that report as well does not assist us at all in terms of figuring out or finding out where we are with the issue. And I think also as well with the issue of the shell case update, I'm very disappointed with the report. I would want to echo previously given sentiments, because the reality is that there have been mentions even on public platforms that there's exploration of shale gas, there's intervention, there's all these things, there's going to be economic booms and whatnot. And we are also reports that communities are being engaged by prospective companies and all these things, but to now be told that the report is still being compiled does not make sense, because how do you go on public platforms and say that this is the work that we're doing, but when you want that to be written in black and white, you say we're still compiling, then it therefore means that we're not going to then be able to hold anyone accountable. So I think that there must also then be some sort of pressing from our side that can you please get a report by perhaps this time. And I think also some of the reports, I can't pinpoint which ones exactly, but there are some interventions that the department said they would do, but there have been no deadlines. And that is also very worrisome, because it goes back to, again, like the example I made about Swartkops, that they intervened far back as 2020. This issue was then brought back to us last year because their intervention, there was nothing that was done. And it clearly shows that there were no deadlines and there were no consequences that, I think it was Lafarge, in fact, it was not even Swartkops, that if you do not then do this by this time, then these are going to be the implications. So I think those are the things that one would have to raise overall, that the department was supposed to be here. Most of these issues, we are not able to actually get more information on them, but over and above that, most of the reports that they are giving to us, there's nothing like that. They're quite, either they're substandard or they're outdated. Because if you say that you would have completed an investigation by the end of 2022, and it is February 2023 now, and there's no updated report, then what's the point of even giving us that feedback? Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. Can you hear me, honorable members?
Did you lose the chair?
Yes, he's trying to come back in. We're waiting for him now, Mr. Mahlawa.
Akathiwe ngiyasola.
Am I audible now?
Only when you ask the question, Chairperson, you are.
Okay. I don't know what's happening. I wanted us to start from the point that Honorable Lorima has raised. One, with regards to the interventions that are being made. Two, when they come, they must take the committee through the point that Honorable Madoka has raised, the type of interventions so far that they've made with regards to that. But can I add and say then the committee Hello.
You're back.
You are back, Chair.
I've figured out what's happening now here. I'll rather use the data, the mobile data, than because it's clashing. Okay, now I was saying, honorable members, on the shale gas issue, why Committee of the National Assembly, can we agree that on the shale gas, as well as the long-term operations of Quebec, we follow what Honorable Mylem was suggesting? Just schedule a meeting for the department to come and brief the committee and deal with the issue at the time of the presentation to the committee on progress up to date. The Taura plan, we go back and seek timelines on what are the timelines, including the interventions by the department, with including OUTA and others. What are the timelines that can attend to this? Take into consideration also the points that Honorable Matoko was saying in terms of actual interventions by the department, including the executive authority. Should not separate the executive authority to that because they are accountable to this committee. Can they give us details with regards to that? Then the committee, based on what it would have received in terms of the timelines and specific interventions, it takes a decision probably at least by next time when the committee meets, not this Friday, next time when the committee meets on matters arising. We agree that. Then let's take note of what Honorable Lorima with regards to Glencore. If you remember, Honorable Lorima, we said the Glencore matter remains outstanding. And also it is also supposed to be one of those that we also give report back to the House Chairperson. So I think let's take your point that at an appropriate time, hopefully again, when we deal with matters arising, you would be able, and other honorable members, assist on what should be the way forward on the issues raised by the department. If it means the department has to come back again, members must feel free to say so that we gain once a day or rebrief by the department. Can we agree on those issues in that manner to attend to? The Enradwa, the report is here, but the department and the entity themselves are scheduled to appear in front of the committee. I think it will suffice therefore to say, they will be talking. If there is some new information, we will deal with them, but they are scheduled to appear in front of the committee, not just on this issue, but also this matter is very high on the agenda of them appearing in front of the committee. Can we take it in that fashion? I see the hand of Honorable Lorima.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, sorry, I'm not sure if I understood completely what the way forward was on the shale gas. Could you just repeat that for me, please?
No, I'm saying the shale gas, can it follow the same with the long-term operations of Quebec, which Honorable Mylem proposed? We take note of what they have said, but we have got a duty of giving reasonable instruction. So we say we follow that route. We schedule a briefing by the department in the second quarter, like Honorable Mylem was saying, with the long-term LTO of Quebec. So Chair, that is the point.
Chair,
yes.
Just on that, the Quebec long-term operations is scheduled for this term. There is an item. There is an item for this term, Chair. On the long term.
Mr. Chair, I'm very happy with the shale gas. Thank you.
So we'll schedule the shale gas as an item of the committee for the department to come and brief us. Okay. Is there any other matter, honorable members? Ari?
The minutes, Chair, and then Ayanda also want to speak on the, what is it, the provincial public hearings program, Chair. So I don't know which one you want to do first. It's just one set of minutes. Just one set of minutes, 6 December, Chair.
Can we deal with the minutes?
Okay. It's the briefing by the presidency on the Just Energy Transition Investment Plan, Chair, 6 December.
Yes. When you are using the phone, let me see, Ari. That is the presentation. Number 4. That is number 4. That is number 5. Is there any move of the minutes? Is there any move of the minutes? I see the hand of Honorable Lekov.
Chairperson, I just wanted to, I don't know if you could see me. Goodness. Chairperson, I just wanted to request, if it's possible, it's not on the agenda, but if it may be permissible to request that the presidency account to the committee regarding the state of planning and contingency planning that's occurred in the event of a national blackout or we reach stage 8. The reason being is obviously it's looking increasingly likely that this may actually occur. But I think it's quite important that South Africans and especially the portfolio have some understanding of what would immediately take place in the event that that were to occur. You know, would the president convene leaders of parties? How would we as a country deal with this matter urgently and obviously in a security environment too? So I just wanted to ask you if that might be permissible and if you might be able to speak to the speaker to arrange something of that nature.
Okay. Can I first get a mover so that can I first get a mover of the minutes? Can I get a mover of the minutes first?
I move for the adoption, sir.
Any seconder? Any seconder?
Second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any matters arising? I'm not forgetting you, Honorable Lekov. Honorable Matogwe.
Thank you, Chair. It's just that I think in the resolutions, there's a resolution there that some of the questions would be sent to in writing because of the time. So I just wanted to check if we have received those responses because I do not see them attached. Thanks, Chair.
I hear you, Honorable Matogwe. Ari and Ayan?
We haven't received any, Chair. We'll follow up.
Honorable Ligov, I think Honorable Milem, if I'm not mistaken, and Honorable Lorima, they've made this proposal, which I think the committee has agreed that, because even when you look at the resolution, because the portfolio committee had not finished its work with the, I hope I'm audible, because the portfolio committee now finished its work with the minister from the presidency, that we agreed here in the committee that we will still invite the presidency to come and take us through, including what Honorable Milem said, is the, what do I call this thing? Dashboard account of every activity with regards to dealing with load shedding. Whilst we are still waiting for the reconvening of that meeting, and there's an addition now from Honorable Madog that we need to then do follow up again to say there are in the outstanding questions that were not responded to. We still expect the minister in the presidency to furnish this committee with those outstanding questions. I think that's how it is. So it is, according to this meeting of today, on the radar of this portfolio committee to to revisit the outstanding questions that were not responded to. 3, to get in the meantime a dashboard account of what is happening with regards to the issue of the energy crisis. 3, we still expect that the continuation of the rebriefing by the minister in the presidency on the activities and other related matters. I dare say, on top of that, on Friday, we'll be dealing also with the issue of additional energy alternatives. So it's a matter that I would say you assist with. So I hope it does accommodate your question in terms of seeking clarity. Is there any other matter, honorable members? Honorable Ligov.
Chairperson, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to clarify. I believe that this matter would be separate to the others that you've mentioned, simply because this would be an immediate response to the present state that we find ourselves in. Obviously, getting an update from the presidency of their planning around load shedding or the crisis is great. I'm asking what would happen in the event that we reach stage 8 or there is a national blackout. I would like to know what their contingency planning is around this and what we can immediately expect. The reason being, obviously, this is like, it's getting to a point now where this is something we really need to be worried about. So I think it would be reassuring to South Africans to know that there is a plan that exists in the event that we find ourselves in those circumstances that would be divorced from the present state of planning regarding, the response to the energy crisis. This would be more regarding the security environment that would exist and what immediate deployments or response we can expect from the presidency in the event that there was a national blackout.
Well, I'm not sure, because as far as we have undertaken, I don't want to, maybe members can help. We only, according to the work directive, we only had to relate to what a portfolio committee can do. I'm not sure whether then there can be a recommendation beyond this, because by establishment, they were told that there's NERCOM that has been established, which is where this portfolio committee, because we are a portfolio committee responsible for mineral resources and energy. Beyond that, unfortunately, let's be upfront, we are not, I'm not sure how far can our mandate go with regards to this. Maybe some honorable members can help. But those issues, in my view, is what Honorable Mylan was talking about, the dashboard account, the current state, and what is in store that can make us avoid even to go beyond the stage 6 where we are going in terms of a total blackout. Based on those accounting measures, maybe this portfolio committee can then be able to take a specific decision with regards to the feedback that we are receiving. Can we manage it at that level? I'm not sure, put it crudely, whether as a portfolio committee, are you suggesting, Honorable Nikov, that we ask the president as the portfolio committee, or we call the president to come and account? What is going to complicate matters worse? And I think it's a matter that we should not look down upon it. It might also suggest that you will need an extra portfolio committee in the National Assembly. Is the proposed or declared appointment or establishment of the Ministry on Electricity? I think it's going. I don't know what it will mean for Parliament in terms of, but for now it doesn't exist. That portfolio committee or the ministry itself. Yes, Honorable Nikov.
Chairperson, I do understand obviously that it may have some impact on OUTA and the security cluster, but given the fact that there is now an appointment of a minister in the presidency that will be overseeing this, it does have direct bearing and impact over this portfolio. And I think we do actually have a security interest in it because obviously, I mean, these things are very interlinked and it's difficult to extricate our energy perspective and our direct involvement in that, and obviously the energy crisis, from the overall national security and otherwise implications this has for the country. So I just think, you know, what we're asking for also would not be privileged information, it would be simply knowing that there's some planning around what would happen in terms of recovery and that there are plans that actually exist in the presidency for these matters, and if not, can they please be drawn up? But I think that's all we're asking for if we had to approach the presidency for these documents and for reports of this nature.
Okay, no, that's why we say that meeting is still outstanding. Obviously, they won't come to the portfolio committee not prepared in terms of documentations, and that documentation, when it arrives, it will be circulated to members in advance. And then they will engage with the minister in the presidency on all these other aspects. But we're saying because sometimes it takes time to secure slots, first ourselves as a portfolio committee, but secondly to agree in terms of our diaries with the person invited. And we're saying in the meantime, like you say, can we get now what are the immediate interventions that are taking place in order to avoid exactly what we are talking about? I think for me, we are saying the same thing. Can we then hold it at that, and then based on the response that members will receive probably next week, then we can be able to deliberate what is the way forward. Can I assume now that the matters we have exhausted them? Can Ayanda, you wanted to raise an issue with the program?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to bring forth the proposed program based on the parliamentary program, because initially when we agreed on the program as a committee, we were finishing on the 4th of June. Subsequent to that, when we looked at the parliamentary program, I have highlighted the changes in yellow, which I will share with the members after this meeting. And also, Chair, just to indicate that some areas, the committee has identified 4 areas, but we had to also look in the parliamentary program, which we see now, there's been schedules of the 3-line whip, which the members are expected to be in Parliament. So, for example, in KZN, we had the 9th of March, which now is no longer happening. We have to start on the 10th of March. that is on the conditions of the approval of our public hearings. Then the following provinces, Chair, we divided the political application on 3 areas that is the requirement from the House Chair and Chief Whip. We have to submit politically as per 3 provinces, not for the whole thing, because we have to put also costing to it. So after we've done with KZN, we'll move to Northern Cape, which is the 24, 25, 26 March. And now on the highlighted yellow, that is the committee week for Parliament, which is new. We didn't have that on the program because we're moving on weekends. So now we put Limpopo on that committee week, and then so that we're done with that province. And then on the, meaning that, Chair, when you move to Northern Cape, we'll only have 1 day in between, which will mean members will move to the next province. So members will be out of their houses plus minus 2 weeks. And then we move to Free State on the 15th of April up to 16. Then Mpumalanga from 21 April to 23rd. And then we moved a bit up for Gauteng and Northwest, meaning that if we go according to this program, we'll finish the public hearings on the 21 of May instead of the 4th of June, Chair. That's all, Chair, I wanted to highlight to members, but I will share this information to members. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I see the hand of Mr. Maile.
Honorable Maile.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I want to raise a concern with you. I'm happy to accommodate the changes, but I WhatsApped Vuyokazi about some changes to the persons that would be attending. I WhatsApped her last night, and I received rather an abrupt response in which she said, it's all been booked. There are no changes that can be made. And I find that unacceptable, Chair. There are situations that arise where members cannot make it, and we send alternates in our place, and we make alternative arrangements. And I find the constant obstacles to be obstructive rather than facilitating members to do the oversight that is necessary. Now we are being told that, well, the last 6 are changing dates, and there's a whole broad change to the program. And so what I asked for is actually very doable. And so, Chair, I would ask that you perhaps have a chat with the committee staff to see what can be done to facilitate the changes to members' schedules and diaries, because it does occur frequently that members are, for whatever reason, unable to participate or change in the logistics of their participation. Thank you, Chair.
Now, before you go down, Honorable Mailem, can I also ask members to help us? Am I audible?
Yes, Chair, you are.
The biggest problem is what we get instructed. There are certain things, honorable members, that are not in our hands. I'm not protecting the staff. The House Chair, for instance, in the meeting of chairpersons, kept on saying, members who changes when the program is finalized are equally liable with the cost that goes with that. They make an example, for instance, if I'm changing and I was going to move from KZN and a member changes, that member is changed with, will be moving from, let's say, from the Eastern Cape. It actually means on the logistics in terms of that application, the member, now the Parliament must do the staff must do a new application for approval. But I think let's talk aside, maybe what I can ask the staff to do. Can they draft something that relates to changes, put it in writing in terms of the policy of Parliament? Please circulate it to all members so that for future references, we can be able to attend to that, including cancellations and other things, because my understanding, some of these things, Honorable Mailem, they don't fall into jurisdiction of that staff member concerned. They don't fall at times even to their managers. they fall to what our own principals, when they make some of these decisions, they also talk about saving the cost of parliament and so forth and so forth. I'm not saying you are wrong what you are saying, or it can't out, administratively, but it is a matter that, to the best of my knowledge, has got to do also with our own principals agreeing on certain procedures, including maybe what I can request from you for now, even if it's a WhatsApp to Ayanda or Ariko as a committee secretary. Then they can forward it to me. I will try and forward it to the House Chairperson. Maybe in the meantime, your current dilemma or challenge that you are having with that specific area, then I will forward it to the House Chairperson. Then you will be able to guide us, because at the end of the day, we are holding political office. We will have to go to the office that is relevant when members have got those challenges. Will that not help you in the meantime? Honorable Mylem?
Thank you, Chair. That's fine. I'll do that.
Please, let's just do that. Is there any other matter, honorable members? Can I then declare the meeting adjourned? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.